Hello, everyone. This spectator for Shavuos number 1 is dedicated to the memory of Lucy Maya and Rena D. As we prepare for Shavuos, I thought we'd talk about 3 things that have to do with davening on Shavuos, and the first is the timing of Megillat Ruth. We all know that we read Megillat Ruth or Shir HaShirim or Kohelet before the Torah reading. This is a problem. After all, we have an ironclad rule: Tadir v'she'eno tadir, tadir kodem. If you have something frequent, like Torah reading, and something infrequent, like the once-a-year reading Megillat Ruth, Tadir Kodem, the frequent thing, goes first. So we should first read the Torah, and then read the Megillah. And just to sharpen the question, that's exactly what we do on Purim. We read the Torah reading for Purim, and then we read the Megillah. So how come on the Yomim Tovim we don't do that? How come in the Yomim Tovim the Megillahs are read before the Torah reading? Explain Rav Soloveitchik, because there's an ironclad gezerah that used to be in effect on Shabbos and Yontif. And that Gzera was not to read the Ketuvim, namely the part of the Bible that Megillat Ruth is part of, in the afternoon. The reason was Mishum Bitul Beis Medrash. Namely, there used to be a shir in shul. The rabbis were worried you wouldn't go to the shir. You would read Tanakh and learn at home. And therefore they said, don't read Tanakh at home. And now you're bored, so you would come to the shir Ba'al Korchecha. That, said Rav Soloveitchik, is the reason. Namely, that ironclad Gzera comes into effect the minute you finish the Torah reading in the morning. So you'd have a catch-22. You finish the Torah reading. You want to read Megillat Ruth, as we do on Purim right after Torah reading, but you can't, simply because there's a Gzera on Shabbos and Yontif. I believe we can learn from this 2 things, one technical and one more in terms of what community is all about. Number 1, technical. This explains why on Purim there's no problem, because on Purim there is no Gzeira not to read Ketuvim, and therefore you can read the Torah first, the frequent thing, and then read the infrequent thing, the once-a-year Megillas Esther. But we can learn something else from it that I think is more important, and that is that there's such importance to communal learning of Torah together that the rabbis were willing to tell you, don't learn alone. Sit around and do nothing just to get you to come to shul or to the Beis Medrash and hear a shir. In other words, even though we all learn Torah, there's an element that's above and beyond it, and that is an entire community learning Torah together. That's probably the reason why there's a separate Birkas HaTorah for an Aliyah. After all, we make a Birkas HaTorah in the morning, and that covers our own personal learning. But if we get an Aliyah, which is communal Kriyas HaTorah, namely a whole minyan learning the same parsha together, we make a separate Birkas HaTorah. So as we get closer to Shavuos, perhaps this halacha teaches us how important it is on this holiday not just to learn alone, but to be part of communal learning in your community. Wishing you all a wonderful day.